And number 10 for the best movies of 2020 so far is going to be Impractical Jokesters. This movie I went into on the recommendation of a friend in the chat, Seth. I'm not a big fan of the Impractical Jokesters or Jokers. Why did I say Impractical Jokesters? Impractical Jokers. It's just a fun movie. I mean, it's sort of, they kind of add in like this faux plot line of them like being back in the 80s and doing this thing and going on a road trip, which it pieces all of the pranks together, but it does actually add some goofy, fun, lighthearted stuff to it as well. I mean, it was a movie that I wasn't expecting much from, but I went into and honestly laughed. I had a great time with. Like, this is just a fun movie. It's one that turn your brain off, enjoy it for what it is. It is a fun movie, very laughable indeed. Yeah, some of you guys are saying, that it was fun for the thing. I think Seth Ladd, what a bum. You guys are saying that. It was a fun one. Another Netflix movie now. Jumping over to Netflix, we had Da 5 Bloods, and I just reviewed this. A lot of people jumped over and reviewed it and watched it as well. But Spike Lee joint for this one, and Delroy Lindo, fantastic in this role. It takes place, previously during the Vietnam War and then later on in life as these guys kind of reunite. And I think it does a great job, not only structure of the film and everything, but the kind of almost commentary and point of view of the characters and dealing with kind of mental illness, PTSD, and all of this stuff is, I'm very confused. Yeah, I'm very confused as well. But yeah, Da 5 Bloods, I mean, you guys have seen it. It all around, a great filmmaking. It does, kind of what Spike Lee does in his films with certain shots and whatnot. It definitely has a great message, great performances. I mean, some of it I personally didn't like. I know a lot of people out there are loving kind of the style that he put into certain scenes. So yeah, go check out Da 5 Bloods on Netflix. Number 8 is going to be a new one that I just watched. It's a smaller indie movie over on Netflix, and it is going to be called Nobody Knows I'm Here, which is exactly how I feel when I'm watching this movie. This movie was one that I went in expecting nothing, and it's like a quick 90 minutes, and it's this great story of this kid that was a singer but was overshadowed by someone that essentially took the spotlight from him. And it's him later on in life and him and the guy that essentially took the spotlight from him, and how he's dealt with those demons, essentially how someone stole the life he wanted from him. It's kind of like a Sasquatch in hiding type story. Someone that's hiding a secret, someone that's kind of living out this fantasy. There's very artsy elements of this film, almost dreamlike sequences. But I think that the best part is Jorge Garcia, I believe, as the lead role, and the last song that he sings, because it's entitled Nobody Knows I'm Here, and it just hits on all of the beats of how he feels, how he has essentially lived the last 30 years of his life. So yeah, this movie has slowly grown on me a little bit more. I think that this is one that you should definitely go out and check out. I thought it was a Peter Pettigrew documentary. Okay, number 7 is going to be The Gentleman. Oh my God, what is it? The Gentleman. It's a fun movie. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Guy Ritchie, there we go. Guy Ritchie movie. It has his style. It's fun, it's witty, it's goofy. There's a lot of accents that might be difficult to hear, and it's the story that you're watching and you're trying to piece together after the fact, trying to get ahead of all of the weird characters, all of the fun conversations, and all of the stuff that they're going back and forth on. But yeah, The Gentleman is just an all-around just fun movie. Again, it was back when movie theaters were still a thing, so I think that that's why it's resonating with me a little bit higher. I know some people went out, they love that movie. Hugh Grant in this movie, by far the standout. Very weird character, but very fun, endearing, goofy character that somehow fits the world of Guy Ritchie. Movie files. Yeah. Still curious why he was throwing up glitter. Yeah, nobody knows I'm here. It's very some like artsy type movie because there's a scene where he's getting sick, throwing up glitter. Number 6. This is a kind of a surprising one, but The Lodge, and this is kind of a psychological horror thriller type, almost cult movie. And I went in expecting a little to nothing from this movie, but it has some just eerie scenes and music that drones on and kind of a weird storyline. And really, this is a movie that sat with me and made me really think about things and kind of how a past of someone can still be in them even though they're a completely different person. If anything, I would say go into this movie knowing nothing, because that's probably the best way to go into this movie, is because it just takes you on this journey of, is this real? Is this not real? I haven't clicked the transition button, so that'll pop up. My bad. But yeah, this movie is such a weird. Yeah, thank you, Skull Queen. Yeah, the graphics weren't matching up. But yeah, The Lodge, Riley Keough, yeah, was great in The Lodge. She does, I don't know, it's just so weird to explain because the main character is almost like an unreliable narrator throughout the movie, and that's what makes this special, because it's kind of like, is it true? Is it not true? Is it in her head? Is it not in her head? So it's that towing the line of supernatural thriller that really got me on board for this movie. Yeah, the climax for The Lodge is absolutely wild. Getting onto a much lighter note is going to be Onward. Pixar movie, very fun. This is a father-son, brotherly love, brotherhood type story that just feels so delightful. Like, this got me emotional. The animation is absolutely gorgeous. The voice acting is fantastic from Chris Pratt and Spider-Man. I can't even freaking think of his name right now. I'm blanking on it. But it is just a delightful, endearing movie, and some of the animation is just so goddamn gorgeous. It is wild. It is Pixar doing what Pixar does best. It is fantastic for it. And again, I think that this one is going to hit you harder if you have a brother, and also potentially if your father is still not in the picture. Yeah, thank you, Tom Holland, Spider-Man, Tom Holland there. Quick, going back over the chat, someone asked, were you a fan of that twist in The Lodge? Without giving anything away, movie files, I hate to say it, but there are quite a few twists in that movie, I feel like. And I love trying to piece together movies like that where I'm trying to be like, oh, I'm one step ahead of them, and that movie I can never figure out. And I like the twist, and it very much, there's a lot of elements in that you could see it coming, and there's story elements like that. I did an ending explained poorly where I actually kind of talk about the movie seriously. I mean, there's jokes in there, but it is a very fascinating movie. Getting back to Onward though, awesome Pixar movie. Getting to the final 4, and again, we're going to go over time, but I don't care. This one is in a slice of life type story, The Assistant. Again, Seth, my buddy, he's always hitting up these smaller indie type movies and recommending them. He recommended this one to myself, and this one I absolutely loved. Like, Julia Garner in this movie, and it almost hitting at the perfect time for a Me Too kind of statement, I would say. Not exactly a statement, but it's very much touching on that element of showbiz. But I love how it's just one day in the life of these people, of this secretary, of this assistant, of these office workers, and it is one hell of an exhausting story. It is shot well, the story is great. It's almost like a monster movie type because you don't ever see the big bad. You only see kind of bits and pieces of it. And again, Julia Garner is fantastic. I just wish that she could have finished lunch in this movie. She only has a bite or two of a sandwich, and then it's done. So, fantastic movie. Go out and check out The Assistant, especially if you like Ozark. She is just as good in this movie. Very much slice of life. I know some people have complained that there's really no point of it, but it's a slice of life movie. That's what a slice of life movie is. Over to HBO now. We have Bad Education. And Bad Education is based on a true story, kind of a scandal that happened at this high school in New England area, I believe. And Hugh Jackman and, God, what's her name? Janie. I can't think. Allison Janney. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, this movie is something that I did not expect and absolutely loved. Like, it is fascinating, the true life elements of this story, but also it is just shot in this weird, like, it is very much like 90s fied, because or like early 2000s, where it's like purposely grainy, and some of it's maybe not as clear as it should be, and the style is there. Like, Ray Romano's in it as well. Like, there's a good supporting cast, but the main leads are the main part of this movie. And it's also, I think, the fact that it's a true story adds that added element of like, whoa, this is crazy. So Bad Education over on HBO. Check this one out. Yeah, Cody is saying he still needs to catch up on this one. This one I watched on a whim, and I absolutely loved it. I think it's one of the best movies this year. One of my favorite movies this year, I will say. Yep, Julia Gardner, the lead in this film, plays Ruth in Ozark. She's my favorite character. I've been trying to upload a video for nearly an hour, but it's not working. The assistant had a slow pace, but the slow pace helps getting the movie's message across. Yep, Rob, you are 100% correct about that. And that's the thing, is the slow pace brings out that, you know, just shows you how stressful and longing her days at work really are. Getting into our top two, this movie is probably my favorite movie of this year. Maybe not the best, but this movie is my favorite movie. But boy, if you haven't seen this movie, my God, treat yourself to this fantastical, trippy, weird police serial killer cat and mouse noir mixed with very almost a slapstick comedy element that they play for seriousness so straightforward. Like, Butt Boy is my favorite movie of this year. Not the best on my list. It might be at the end of the year, depending on if I go and watch it again. But my God, this movie is so freaking weird. Essentially, it follows this guy who has like he has like these superpowers, essentially, of his butt eats things. His butt eats things. Like, you can't, Butt Boy. That's what it is. This guy's butt eats things. But then it's this cop that's going or chasing this guy down because things and people and whatnot start going missing. So it's a missing person type serial killer movie where a guy has things go into his butt. That's the movie. It's such a weird movie, but they play it such straightforward. It's very artsy. It's artistic. It's this like synth wave, drowning, suspenseful, like eerie, dreadful music. It's like this toned down, like the two people that are playing the cat and mouse, the killer essentially, and the detective, like this hardened detective. Oh my God! Like, I instantly watched this movie and went off, and I was so excited to review this movie. My buddy Seth, again, reminded me about it. Such a weird-ass movie, no pun intended, but Butt Boy is so freaking crazy. Yes, Jared, it comes to no surprise that a movie called Butt Boy is one of your favorites of the year. Yes, go treat yourself about this movie. It's so weird. It's honestly a straightforward, serious, like, detective trying to solve a crime type movie, thrown into a weird world of someone putting things in his butt. It's almost like a drug addiction. That's all I'm going to say. Check it out. And then landing at the top spot, even though Butt Boy was very close, it is going to be a theatrical movie. Emma. I think I'm a sucker for period pieces because not only did the style, the music, the atmosphere, and everything really draw me in, but the kind of game of love that they were playing in this movie, the relationships with people, the performances from Anya Taylor-Joy and everyone else in this movie are just so devilishly delightful, if that makes sense. Like, it is just a fun game, again, like trying to play matchmaker. And I believe that this movie is what Clueless is based on. So, like, if you like Clueless, this is an updated period piece version of Clueless, essentially. And it is very goofy, it is very fun, it is very all of that stuff. Emma, I don't know. I just thought it was a very delightful movie. I went in expecting nothing, came out loving every piece of it. Again, from the costuming, the atmosphere, the music, the performances, the game of love, the witty dialogue between each of the characters, I think was the best. And Anya Taylor-Joy as Emma is so damn good, so just beautiful and everything in this role. Chef's kiss. But yeah, those are the best, worst, middle ground movies of the year. Number 1 is going to be Emma. And yes, Dorito Chip Gamer, you are asking, where the heck is Bad Boys for Life? That is an honorable mention. Honorable mention for myself. Invisible Man, Bad Boys for Life, and The Way Back would be some that are honorable mentions for myself. I know that, yeah, some people in the chat are already saying the some of the Emma wasn't, you know, everyone's cup of tea, but, you know, I liked it. I like a nice period piece and everything like that. Yes. We need whatchamacallit. We need Anya Taylor-Joy to get back into the goddamn New Mutants and get that movie out there and everything like that. But anyways, yeah, those are my best and worst and whatnot movies of the year. We will probably skip out on Movie Spotlight, but I will do some announcements. Let me know what you guys thought of my 2 lists of the best and worst. I will probably try to chunk out those 2 and use them as clips on my channel so you can just watch that portion of JBuck Live if you're looking forward to it.